Every play caller's been there. It's 1st and 10. You call your play. It gets stuffed. Now it's 2nd and long. The play call sheet is loaded, and the pressure starts to build. Do you stick with the plan? Do you play it safe? Do you call your shot? Most coaches guess in these situations, but guesswork leads to stalled drives and missed opportunities. In this segment, I'm going to show you how to flip the odds on 2nd and long back into your favor using strategy, sequencing, and analytics that the best play callers use to get back on track. Before we get to that, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, it would go a long way in helping support my endeavors to put more videos out here like this. All right, let's dive in. In this section, we're going to talk about calling plays when you're off schedule. So this would be after a 1st down penalty, or it could be on 2nd and 7 yards or more. And again, I think this is a critical situation that you got to be really on point with your play calling to get back on schedule. Our goal for this situation is to get back to normal down. So that's what we're trying to do. You need to understand that about 18% of the game is played in these off-schedule situations, and so that's about 12 plays a game. So I want to make sure I have 10 to 12 plays a game that where I'm this 2nd extra long or 2nd long that I can get back on schedule. And so what we want to expect here from an offensive standpoint is we're going to try to get back to our rhythm grid is the goal, but I'm going to have to be more in rush mindset if they're a heavy blitz team. So it might be more screen-based driven, could be more overload driven. So you got to really study at how they're playing those 2nd and long type of looks. Drop back pass is going to come more online for me in screens and draws. Again, rush style of plays or drop back plays to get that yardage back. You need to understand what their identity is on these situations. So when you're breaking down your huddle data, you want to make sure there's really 2 types of families. They're going to be really conservative and drop 8, or they're going to be aggressive and bring pressure. Okay, so that's kind of the 2 really styles of mentalities they'll have. And based on that mentality kind of dictates your play calls you have ready. Our goal is to get half back. Okay, we want to try to get half the yardage back to stay on schedule. I'm going to talk about another way to think about that, even more prevalent here in a minute. But again, just a general rule of thumb, get half back on 2nd and 7 to 10. One-word tempos are really good, especially after a negative play. Let's say the defense has a big tackle or a sack, and you're now at 2nd 10, or getting back on the line of scrimmage and getting right into a tempo play can really neutralize that momentum. The prior play call. Understand that the defense is always looking at on 2nd down and 7 to 10, what did you call on 1st down? If you ran on 1st down, they're expecting pass. And if you passed on 1st down, they're expecting run. Just as a human innate just nature, we kind of do the opposite. So if I run the ball and get stuffed at 2nd 10, I'm kind of calling a pass. And if I threw the ball and was incomplete or I got a sack, I'm probably going to run on the next down. It's a good idea to use those opposite expectations that the defense has against them. Maybe call a draw after a negative run play. If they're thinking pass, call a draw on 2nd and 10. Or if you threw the ball on 1st down and it's now 2nd and 10, they're thinking run, well, run bootleg. Use that run anticipation, that expectation against them. That's something that I haven't paid enough attention to that I need to do a better job of, and I think that will help you as well. Okay, let's look at some scheme strategies that we want to employ on 2nd and 10. And this can even be for 2nd 7 to 10 for me, okay? One of the things I want you to understand is that there's a high probability of pressure on these downs, but you must get 7 yards or more to generate a 55% chance of converting the series. I try to play Canadian football. And what does that mean? Canadian football, you only have 3 downs. I'm trying to convert on 2nd down like I'm playing Canadian football. Because Canadian football, you're punting on 3rd down more often than not. Try to have a 2-down mindset. Try to get that 3rd down conversion on 2nd down. So if it's 2nd and 10, try to get at least 7 yards, but try to get that 10 on 3rd down. And that mindset really helped me convert more. And the data says that if you get 7 yards or more on 2nd 10, you have a 55% chance converting. If you only get half, it's only a 45% chance. The numbers are a little bit more in your favor to get 7 yards or more on 2nd and 7 and 10 plus. Things that we want to look at. Rack pass. What does that mean? It's a high percentage perimeter pass play that gets the ball to the best player with the blocking scheme that can adjust to get the offense. So I'll show you some of my favorite rack pass variations that I like to use on 2nd and 10. I love screens and draws on 2nd and 10. Have the opposite expectation mindset. A draw is a great call on 2nd and 10
if you ran the ball on 1st and 10 and they're anticipating pass. And they're going to drop. Again, that's only if they're a drop 8 type of team. Screens are better if they're a blitz type of team on 2nd, 10, or 7. Quick game. Love quick game. On 2nd, 10, it reduces the pass protection strain, and it allows you to have multiple hots that you can get the ball quick if they're a pressure team. And then I love trick plays on 2nd and 10 plus. 2nd and 15 after a loss of yardage or a penalty. That's a great time to use tricks because you're already behind the probability of converting that series. So you might as well give it a shot. It's the best time to do it. The defense isn't really expecting anything. They're playing more conservative, not pinning their ears back. They're just playing soft coverage. So a great time to use a trick play on 2nd and 10 plus. All right, let's look at some examples here. Here's an example of a rack pass. So for rack pass for us, we can do it at a variety of looks. We like getting into this tight bunch with number 1 on, and they're keeping a track and they're blocking the first defender inside of them. Okay, so again, number 1 is going to block the first defender inside of his leverage. Number 2 is going to block the next defender inside of his leverage. So he's going to keep a track, and whoever shows up, that's who he's going to take. Number 3 is going to wrap, and he's getting the first thing that shows outside. We get a crack, and a wrap scheme. That's what we call a crack, wrap. And that provides a really good angle and path to swing the back, get a nice, easy, high percentage swing route, and then hit that on the run just as they're engaging for an explosive play. Screen pass options for us. So what that means is on the backside, our single receiver is going to run some sort of read route. This is our rhythm throw. And then if it's not there, if they over-rotate coverage and we got one-on-one backside, we've got a read route, come back, a deep curl, could be a dig, a double move, post corner, out and up, whatever you want to signal there to reset to if the rhythm side is out leveraged. All right, here's an example. It's 2nd and 10. We're going to work our rack pass. So you can see there's the crack, wrap. Again, we don't block a blitzer. So if he blitzes, we just bypass him and we gain the advantage elsewhere. We picked that up. We got 20 yards on that rack pass. So a great way to neutralize aggressive pressure. Good idea to call this as a one-word call to get them set up quickly. Okay, here's another variation. We have all kinds of ways that we try to window dress this up. So this is the same scheme, but now we're using our H receiver. And so we're getting a crack. The tailback now is the wrap, and then our receiver is going to be the swing screen. So again, any way that we can get a double crack with a wrap provides the best angles and to get a leverage advantage. And we still got our read route on the backside. Okay, so you can see we get the crack, and wrap, and we're able to get 7 yards there on that play. And again, if we can get to 3rd and 3, we feel pretty good about converting. Okay, here's other variations of what we call a rack pass. So again, we like getting in trips and then just blocking just head up to inside defenders. So we got 3 stalks out there. We tip the back out pre-snap. And again, if we got leverage with 3 for 3 out here, we're going to throw the swing. We still got our read route on the backside we can reset to. And then obviously we got some pumps off of this when they start to come down. But again, they're getting a cover 3 rotation right there. And we're able to get 3 good key points of contact with our 1, 2, 3, get the ball out quickly. These are great 2nd down and 10 calls. This was 2nd and 14. You can see how deep we are behind the chains right here. And we're able to get, 10 of that back, maybe 11 to get into a 3rd and short. Okay, so love these for rack passes. The next thing I want to look at is screens. Okay, so we got screens and draws. Some of my favorite screens to run are sprint out screens where you throw back to a tailback. Again, so we have set this up a few weeks prior where we had some sprint out to our Z receiver. All right, that was a big, play for us. Is if they're going to play man out here to the Z, we would just sprint out and we have a chase drag and a post, and then we just work him on like a double move, like an out and up comeback or out and up, a deep comeback, whatever. And so this is a good counter if you've shown that on 2nd and long to come back to. This would be the sprint out screen back to the tailback. Okay, so some of that stuff's layered up there. So our goal is to get 7 yards or more. If we can get 7 yards or more, we have a 55% chance of conversion. If they're more of a drop 7 or 8 type team, so you really got to understand the mentality of the defensive coordinator on 2nd and long. And there are going to be 2 identities. They're going to be aggressive or they're going to be passive. If they're passive and dropping 7, or 8, it's better to run draws. And so this was just a shovel option, shovel draw for us, option draw with the quarterback. Again, so they're playing coverage, they're playing soft zone, linebackers are playing soft. Again, so we're getting that, especially after the previous play, we ran the ball. So they're thinking, okay, we're going to pass, and we're kind of showing this sprint out action, we shovel. So we try to violate the expectations of what we did on the previous down. And we do that based on their identity as well in second down. Okay, here's a quick game. So when you're running quick game concepts on second and long, it's really important. Like you see, we have this double A gap, like blitz look here. A lot of teams that like to heat it up on second long. It's important that you have some sort of spot route or stick route over the middle to attack inside linebacker pressure, okay? Whether it be a cross pop or just a double bullet splits or mugs and dropping out. You need to give your quarterback a viable hot that he can throw to protect these types of interior pressures. That's what we were working here. Is we had a empty like stick concept. I think we're working the slot fade and the hitch, and the backside just a slant option, and we can just settle up. If it's hot, he's just going to choke it up right there, and that's what he was doing. So again, quarterback, the main takeaway here is that your quarterback has to know where his hots are. All right. So again, we had the spot there, and then we had the hitch. Okay, but he has to have hots to replace that interior pressure. You're going to want to bring those in and call those types of schemes on second down. You can see our protection wouldn't have held up if that was a 5-step drop play. All right, but again, our quarterback gets it out quick. We're able to get 7 yards. Look at the effort by our receiver there of diving and just knowing how important that 7 yards is. Okay, here's an example. This is second down and 8. So again, we're just working just a crack screen here, and we're getting an explosive play. Okay, but the key is this. You'll watch this official here. He throws the flag, right? We're getting on the road, not going to get some calls sometimes. So this explosive play is coming back. Now we're in a bad situation. Now it's 2nd and 17. So it's going to be very hard to overcome 2nd and 17. So here's what I like to call trick plays. So this is where we go, right? You have a handful of tricks every game, 2 to 3 a game. And if you don't use them, you just cycle them into the next game. And that's kind of how we do it. So here's like a reverse pass to the tight end, working a post crosser, double post crosser, and we're able to overcome that bad situation. That's demoralizing for a defense because they're all fired up. They have you in second long. Everybody's kind of relaxed and feeling good that they're going to, get you to punt that drive. So you want to go all in and try to get it back with the trick play. And here's another example. This is first down across the logo zone here, and we're just going to try to work a counter wind back play here. 1st and 10, we work the counter toss wind back, and it's absolutely brutal play, right? Does not work. We lose yards. So remember, I talked about if the defense gets a tackle for loss, your chances of scoring that drive are 15%. So you need to try to get back your odds back into your favor and get back on schedule. So this is a great time again to call a one-word tempo exotic trick, okay? And the trick doesn't have to be like a double reverse crazy pass for us, all right? We had a one word and we just get on immediately. See, this is right after the play. The defense is still celebrating, high-fiving for getting that tackle for loss. And this is what which is a 5-receiver set into the boundary. It's a one word. It's just get the ball, snap it quick, and get it out there. We got to try to get 7 yards. And that's what we were able to do there. Immediately, that momentum is diffused, and we're back on track now to convert that series. So I think that's something that you need to make sure that you're thinking about and you have ready to roll. If you're thinking about weapons to use, those weapons are needed in those critical situations. Just to kind of wrap up those second and long calls, and to make sure that those are critical downs. You're in those plays 12 times a game. So I think it's good to have a list of 10 to 12 2nd, 7 to 10 styles of plays, and those plays should be predicated on 2 things. What's the defense's mindset on 2nd, 7 to 10 based on your film study? Are they aggressive or passive? And then try to violate your first down expectations. So again, if you ran on first down, they're thinking pass on second down. So maybe run, draw, or run it again. Or if you threw on first down, they're expecting run. So maybe throw again and make sure some high percentage throw, because there's nothing worse to have 2 incompletions in a row and get into throwing every down. Some things to think about. I'm excited to continue on this process. Let's get to the next part.
The reality is that most coaches fail not because of lack of plays, but because they lack a process. The Art of Play Calling course gives you that process. 18 modules, over 100 plus situational concepts, and proven frameworks that I've used to build explosive and efficient offenses across the country. And for a limited time, I'm including the R4 auto-populated play call sheet in the package. This is over $100 value, absolutely free. Click on the link below, take the next step, and upgrade your ability to think, plan, and call plays. You won't be disappointed. We'll see you on the next video.